Uh, Here we will discuss essential concepts within software engineering, and only a few of them. There are many concepts, and right now we just take the most important ones. Um, okay, some of these concepts may be called things, and things, by things we mean the essential things that you have to know so that you can develop software. Good. First of all, irrespective of what kind of software we produce, we must think that as software organization, we are always impacted by environment. An environment can mean many things. Environment can mean customer. So your customer is very important because it is thanks to customers you make money, you make profit. So always have to, well, check the customer needs and check whether the customer is satisfied with your products. You have also legal authorities that you must consider. You must develop software that is legally acceptable, otherwise you will have problems with legal authorities. So you will have to follow their rules and make sure that they are not breached. You have competitors. This is the toughest thing. Competitors may be ahead of you, and if you develop a software system or a software intensive system, which might be like cell phone, yeah, then you have to check how far your competitors have gone, what price they state, how technologically advanced they are. Your environment are also partners. You do not develop your system on your own. Like, for instance, Samsung does not develop cell phones on their own. They have many partners, like partners developing or producing sensors, and partners creating software for instance, fingerprint recognition in these sensors. And then you have also to think of globalization. Globalization, a very important aspect. Why? Because you, as a company, as a Swedish company, where you have very high salaries, you may outsource products to companies where the salaries are much lower, salaries in other countries. And you have to think how to adapt to the globalization so that you can still keep the salaries on a certain level and be productive and go forward, so you do not go under because of that. So here we have one software intensive product. I have been the one who has drawn this, maybe not the best picture. Mobile phone, and it's software intensive. And why it's software intensive? Because all its operation is run by software. So major part is just software. So let's have a look at the most important things that are relevant for software engineering. One of them is opportunity. What does it mean? Well, opportunity is something that says or articulates the reason for why we create a new system or why we change a system. So it's like, for instance, we would like to implement fingerprint recognition in our Samsung phones. And Samsung wants to get more customers, and by getting more customers, they will earn more money. Fingerprint is also a very good solution. You don't need to remember the password or the code or whatever. So opportunity is some kind of a set of circumstances that makes it possible to develop a software system or to change a software system. Let me provide you an example. About 15 years ago, there was already an opportunity to get TVs in the cell phones. But there was no need for that. People did not have this need. There were many, interviews and discussions about it. And people said, why should we have TV on our cell phones? Look what's happening today. Well, thanks to YouTube and the internet. So that's why the set of circumstances is very important. At those times, the circumstances were not okay. People were not ready for this type of application. Now we are ready. We have other circumstances today. Then we have stakeholders, and stakeholders are people, groups, organizations who are involved. And what does it mean? They are either affected by software, like I am a customer and I am affected by the software. I use it. I use a mobile phone, so it impacts my life, it impacts my way of working. Or those stakeholders who affect the software system and those who develop the software system. So, or those who support the software system. So they are the ones who change the software, impact how the software system is developed. There are many groups of stakeholders. I could say I could list here 100 different stakeholders. But here we focus on the stakeholders that buy, so a group that buys. I have also on the third line the stakeholders that use. They may be the same people or groups, but they may be different. If I'm a private person and I buy a cell phone, of course I use it. But it may happen that I, as an organization, buy some cell phones for my employees. I do not use them, but I buy them, but my employees use them. So here we have buyers and we have users, end users. Then we have groups that develop software and we have groups that support software. So stakeholders are the groups that provide the opportunity and are the source of requirements and funding for the software system. Of course, those who buy, they fund. Those who use, they often are the source of requirements. They state what requirements they have. Then requirements. Well, requirements are demands. What the software system must do. But always when you state some requirement, you must always address the opportunity. And how you address some kind of opportunity, like circumstances for developing a mobile phone today, and how can you make the stakeholders happy with it. So, for instance, here we may have a requirement. It may just be stated as here, the user will identify himself via fingerprint, or a banking system must provide yearly account to report customers. So these are examples of requirements. Or here on this photo we have the phone will have fingerprint sensor. Yeah, this is a high level requirement. So requirements, these are demands. And of course when you have demands, you drive how the system should be developed, what functionality the system should have, and how you should test the software system, because you always test the software system against the needs or against the requirements that have been stated that reflect the needs. Then we have software system. So a system is made up of software, hardware and data. And it provides, of course, primary value by its execution. So if you execute software on a cell phone, then of course you get the value because you could make a call, you could video film, you could take a picture. So this is this is the type of value that is provided by the software system. But again, software system in such a cell phone is only the software part. There are also hardware parts and data parts that are involved so that this whole packet, this whole system can work. Then we have next thing, and this is team. A team is a group of people that is engaged in the development of a software system, but they do not always develop new systems. They may maintain it, that is, correct bugs or add some new functionality. They may be the team that deliver a specific software system, or they may support, answer silly questions to the customer. So in the team, we may have team leader, we may have tester, we may have developers, we may have technical writers. Technical writers are those who document all most of the things, like what the system looks like. And when we talk about teams, it's not that this team must consist of a fixed number of people. It may consist from one to many members. So you may already have a team of one person and you still may call it a team. And then we have work. You know what work is, but let's just try to formalize it in some way. So work is an activity that involves either mental or physical effort. So you do something. Like here we clean the floor. Yeah? So this is work. And we do it in order to achieve some result. So the result here is that we get very clean floors. The exact activity when you do something is also called a process. A process. So it's work. And this process, within software engineering, it has to meet some goals. So let us say that our goal is to have very, very clean floors. So our requirement might be that the floors in my apartment will be bacteria free, or will be, how to say, damm in Swedish. I can't remember the word, but it should be so clean because I have allergic son and I cannot afford any dirt in my house. Yeah, so this is this is the requirement, and you address this requirement well. And you as a company, for instance, a cleaning company, you may address these requirements, the customer's requirements, and these requirements, and of course this need gives you the opportunity to make money. So this is work, the exact process of doing something. But then we have way of working. Yeah? Okay. Work was exact physical activity or mental activity. Way of working is the description of this activity. So it is a description of how to work. And there are some synonyms to it, like method, practice, process, model. Please observe, the exact work was also called process. But way of working here is called process model, so a model of work or a model of a process. Yeah. We have here a model of how to clean floors. Yeah, very nice model. So you conduct your work by following the model. Another good example are recipes. The recipes for cooking soup. Yeah, these are methods or process models. And when you start cooking the soup and when you cook the soup, you execute the process. You conduct the work. So, okay, I have gone through the most essential things: opportunity, stakeholders, requirements, software system, work, way of working, and team. And here you have some kind of weird picture. This is because this picture reflects a model of CMAT, created by a CMAT group, of a model that is called Essence. And this model consists of 3 areas of concern, like customer, solution, and endeavor. And actually, Essence tries to identify the most important things you have to have within software engineering so that you as a software organization can function and conduct a software business. So here within the customer area of concern, so it is opportunity and it is stakeholders that matter. Within solution, that is the developer's domain, where you have, the system domain, solution, software system solution. So you have requirements that drive the development of software system. And the software system is the final output. And then you have endeavor, the area of concern, where you have teams, those who conduct work. You have way of working, methods describing how they should work, and actual work, it is how exactly they conduct their work.